Schedule a Zoom with me at gcexperts.com/Zoom. I developed an enterprise level AI for federal contractors. I just
Okay.
I just did it. It had its first live phone call last night with one of my clients.
Okay.
I was actually shocked at the result. Like, I'm the guy who designed it and built it, and I was shocked.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, I've done over 1,000 federal contracts, over $1 billion worth of work with the federal government, and what I witnessed last night was unbelievable. And when we get off the phone, I'll just text it over to you, or I'll get it to you in some way, email or
Okay.
whatever. But I, I don't know quite the way to explain this other than to just say what it did. It called my client, introduced itself, and said, "How can I help you?" And he said, "Well, I want you to give me a couple of solicitations that are in my wheelhouse." And it said, "Well, okay, here's A and here's B." And he says, "Okay, listen, does it fit my bonding limit?" "Oh yeah, I'm looking at your bonding limit right now. You're all set." He says, "Okay, go ahead and fill out the forms and send it to my email." What the AI said was, "No problem, I'll do it just as soon as we're off the call." But it actually sent it to him live in the call.
Okay.
And then it said, "Do you want me to send it over to the estimator?" I built an estimator AI. The estimating AI that I built, what it does is it looks at the solicitation documents.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not talking about an OCR level. I mean, it literally looks at 172 feet of conduit.
Yeah.
Okay. Then, are you familiar with the concept of comps? When you go to buy a house, they comp that house to another house?
Absolutely. Yeah. So you're taking the comparable values of different what solicitations, I guess, in this case.
Awards.
Yeah.
It's got 72,000 federal contract, or no, maybe it's 75,000, and it's adding every day. It looks
Mm-hmm.
for comps, then it goes and reads the plans and specs to the comps so that it can give you what's comparable and what's not comparable. And then it can give you a range. If you bid this amount, you'll win 50% of the time. If you bid this amount, you'll win 100% of the time. If you bid this amount, you'll win
Right.
20% of the time. In other words, based on margins. Or you can tell it flat out, "I want to make 30% across the board every time I turn in a bid."
Yeah. So this is the AI system that you guys built.
It's already built, it's already running. How it operates for everybody except for last night is by email. You just send, I named it Trip. You send Trip an email, and you go back and forth with Trip. Trip
Okay.
from the start was designed so that you can find, bid, negotiate, and perform federal contracts, the whole thing through AI.
Mm-hmm.
It's already made one of my clients 150 grand, and I have video evidence. Like, I interviewed her, and it's on my YouTube channel. That was an early version, let's call it 1.0. I'm and it was a different AI.
Okay.
Trip now is enterprise level. I mean, he's the whole 9 yards. The only reason I mention this is you're the first person that I have spoken to that is actually a federal contractor and understands the words that I'm saying. Like, somebody that's new wouldn't understand the value of something like that.
Right. 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 Right.
I want you to think about it this way: the sun shines on half the earth all the time, but you can grab a magnifying glass and you can change the perspective of the sun. If you ask ChatGPT a question about federal contracts, it's going to give you an answer. But mine, when you ask it a question, it goes and gets the ChatGPT answer or the Grok answer or whatever, all the things. It gets that answer. But then
Mm-hmm.
it runs it through 60,000 documents of my career. Then it runs it through that 3-day training, the workshop, to add my perspective to your question. Then it takes the answer and it does a comparable. Does this make sense compared to what the person asked? If it doesn't score 90, I can't remember if I have it 90% or 95%. It rewrites the answer and sends that off. It'll
Okay.
it'll do that 4 times to get as close to 100% as it can. And if it can't get there, it pings me and says, I'm having a hard time. Usually it's some kind of speculation. In other words, there's no hard evidence to the answer. And then I offer my perspective, and then it sends it back to you.
Okay. So now, does this chatbot provide the solicitations that will
It
fit like my company's capabilities?
absolutely 100%. Not only
Okay.
that, but it derives not only, well, now in conversation, but from email. If you send it in some bids that you've been turning in, it'll pick up on your UEI, cage code, address, phone number, and then it'll store that in the client database and fill out your bid forms for you.
Okay. So now with the bid forms, you know, not all bid forms are alike, right? So they're all different.
1442, 1449. Listen,
Right. So let's say if they
yeah,
want past performance, they want
it'll
requests
it'll
for references, things like that. Like, does that just get built into there as well, as far as they'll be able to pull my past performance that would fit within this
that's
solicitation?
it'll custom write your technical proposal.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's already in place. It's being used by my clients.
And so let's just say for my technical narrative, in the solicitation, it says it needs to be, let's say, less than 5 pages. This
Yep,
will actually do that and be able to sum it all up within, those parameters.
automatically.
Yeah.
I,
And this is all done through email. So let's say I just go and just send them an email and it just bounces back all this information to me.
yeah,
Okay.
you have to see it to believe it. But I mean, why would I say this on video if it's not true? It's amazing. It's already here and it's operating.
No, I can believe it. I mean, I'm curious. I've dealt with a couple of different, of using being involved with federal contracts, you have to use AI. So we use quite a bit of AI, and we have a couple of different tools that we use. So I just want to know what separates you, and then what's the final hook? What's the catch? What is it involved on our end to get to test drive this thing or see what it's about?
I mean, if you want to test drive it, I can just tell Trip to send you an email and tell you you got 24 hours access and that kind of thing. I mean, that's look there. If you've watched any videos of me, there's never a hook or I'm trying to sell something to somebody. I'm not. Uh, I want you to think about it this way. Imagine 120 years ago, there's a guy's been a carpenter all his life, and he uses hand tools to do all his carpentry work. Now he's 65 years old and he's retired, not really doing much anymore, but he finds out that there's this new tool, a circular saw. You just plug it in the wall and it cuts the wood for you. You just push it through. Can you imagine how much that guy would be looking at that tool going, oh my God, that would have been so helpful? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He'd probably go out and buy that circular saw just to see it, the marvel of it working, even though he's got no real application for it. Look, I'm retired. I've got all the money I'll ever need for the rest of my life. But I'm seeing this AI technology and I'm going, wait a minute. I got I got to see for myself. So I invested over 100, probably $150,000 at this point, designing AI. My goal is I want anybody that's loosely associated with the construction industry to be able to run $100 million a year federal government construction company from their cell phone. Like, that's the goal.
My goal
It,
too.
it has already exceeded my expectations, and I'm only about a few months into this thing.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable what it can do, particularly with my mindset and my perspective, because I don't know if you'll ever be able to have a conversation ever again in the rest of your life with somebody who bid over 20,000 contracts over my career, performed over 1,000 federal contracts over my career, did over $1 billion worth of work over my career, made over $300 million over my career. Okay. Maybe there's another guy out there like me. Okay. But does he understand technology? Does he have the time, the money to invest in it, to make it really work the way that a contractor would need it to work? Probably not. But on the flip side, you probably have some techno nerd out there that's probably spamming your text messages right now with crypto scams because he doesn't know how to add any real value to somebody's life, but he understands how to make the robots work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But he
I hear you
doesn't
on that.
he doesn't understand federal government construction. If he did, he he'd be contacting you, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's if there's a hook, that's the hook. Look at the guy you're talking to.
Okay. So it sounded like you wanted to have a conversation, offline about this. No?
Whether you want to or not, I don't care. I
Well,
mean,
you posed it, didn't you?
I don't know if I did or didn't. Shit, man, I'm just the kind of guy that just whatever pops in my head, I talk about. I'm really
Yeah.
just excited about this phone call because I don't normally get to talk to established federal contractors that know what a 1442 is and a 1449 or an
Yeah.
SF-18 or a
Yeah.
certified payroll report. I mean, you understand the language of this business.
Yeah. 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 A little bit. I mean, like I said, I've been in it for about a year now. But been in construction though for 20 plus years. A lot focused on real estate and investments and single family things and whatnot. But I mean, I have a business partner. He's actually tied up right now, but he's more so on the field operations,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like more back office now at this point in my life. So I'm the one that's putting in all the solicitation, all the bids, going through all the opportunities, and landing us these government contracts. And like I said, I do use quite a bit of AI with my stuff, kind of a mix between a couple of different platforms. We do have an AI subscription to some type of the software that allows us to pull these government contracts and filter them a lot, saves a lot of time for us. So it's not
Mm-hmm.
like we're just doing this caveman style, right? And and just going on sam.gov. So we do have some things in place, but I mean, I saw it. I figured it would be just worth the opportunity just to have the conversation and see, if anything that you're providing aligns with what we're trying to do. So I think that's basically where I'm at right now. But I mean, I'm open to understanding what your program has and trying it out. But of course, I just want to know if it really fits my model, what I'm trying to do, and if it's affordable, if it's feasible, right? I mean, you start
Sure.
stacking up all these different types of tools and premium subscriptions. I mean, it becomes costly, but at the same time, one federal contract bid award, pays for itself. So, I mean, I get that too. So, I just figured it'd be good to just have that conversation with you and just see where you guys are at.
Well, did you get a chance to see Bid Tracker?
No, I did not. I really did not even dive too much into it. I just saw a reel that my business partner sent to me, and I
Okay.
looked at it and I'm like, okay. And then there was like, for more information, put your info in, and that's all I really did.
Oh, okay. Well, then you didn't watch the Michael video. My apologies. Normally, when somebody's getting into a Zoom with me, they've got a history of watching, 10, 20 video. There must be hundreds of them at
Yeah,
this
I mean, I
point.
saw like a quick reel of you, of you, and I think you have maybe you and your son or something like that are involved in this. But I think that was pretty much it, and I just put my information in. So I am working with limited intel.
Okay, yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you some information from me directly, and then I'm going to give you access to Trip for 24 hours so that you can email back and forth with him and get an idea of what he does. And uh and uh and then I'm going to ask you to watch this 1 hour video. Uh Mostly because there's a section in there that you don't, obviously you're aware of the federal acquisition regulations, but are you aware of federal acquisition regulation 13.004 specifically when you're turning in quotes to the federal government? Have you come across that yet?
I have not.
Okay. It's probably the most important thing that a new federal contractor needs to know. And in that video, about halfway through, I teach the entire route on how to bid federal contracts at no risk. Sound important?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So take an hour of your time, stop everything you're doing at some point and watch that video because it's the most important piece of information that I can give to somebody. Uh, there's all kinds of public informations, but if you ask Chat GPT or Grok or these other things, how do I bid federal contracts? They're going to give you whatever the LLM answer is.
Hmm. Hmm.
In fact, when you get access to Trip, just ask him, how do I bid federal contracts at no risk? He'll tell you because he's got my perspective.
Okay. No, that I mean, this is valuable. I mean, before I even put a bid in, and once I even got like my SAM and all my UEI and my cage code and all that stuff registered, even after that, before I even put a bid in, I researched and took a couple courses online and, just webinars and things like that to educate myself on this because this is a new lane for my company. So, I mean, these are the types of conversations that I'm looking to have as I continue to expand my contracting business. I mean, like I said, we've already won a couple of bids, performed, did them, knocked them out, and just looking to do more and see how we can scale our business. So these are,
Well,
like I said, these are the conversations that I'm looking to have. And
on that note, let me tell you, the smallest job I ever did was $7,000. The largest job I ever did was $8 million. I've done everything from wind tunnels for NASA. I've done water treatment plants for the Air Force. I've done kitchen renovations for the National Park Service. I built a power plant for the Navy on an island off the coast of California called San Clemente Island.
mhm.
I've worked on 4 presidents' homes, and I even replaced the carpet at the top of the St. Louis Arch.
Okay.
So, if that's the kind of conversation you're looking to have, I can go in deep in the weeds, so to speak, on
Yeah.
anything construction related for the federal government.
Yeah.
If you got questions, hit me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, right now, so we, the 3 awards that we've had so far
Hmm.
were with the U.S. Coast Guard.
Hmm.
Okay. So my business is based out of Cleveland, Ohio. There's a Coast Guard location right there. And not only we've performed work at that location, but we've also, once we've, I guess, performed that, we were able to get awarded 2 other contracts in different, like one was in South Carolina and another one's in Alabama.
Hmm.
Okay. So we're able to travel that kind of the eastern seaboard and self-perform, not subcontract anything out. Like that's at this moment, but we like to be able to self-perform everything because we can. We have all the equipment, we have all the capabilities to do everything. With basic construction, more so like facilities maintenance, site work, um, concrete, so, things like that. And then basic just renovations, things like that. But um, we have not landed anything outside of the Coast Guard. And currently, right now, the Coast Guard is dealing with a shutdown with Homeland Security. So they're allowing us to receive bids, but not processing any invoices until that gets squared away.
Okay.
So I guess the question is, given my situation, we're looking to move into like National Park Services, maybe some, Department of Defense, Air Force, Army Reserves. We put some bids in those sectors, but not haven't heard anything, thus far. But we're putting in, bids that align with what we can do. Probably, I don't know, maybe like anywhere between 2 to 4 a week for the last consistently for I would say for maybe the last like 3 months.
So most contractors have the mindset that I have to bid it to win it, because if you don't win more jobs, your business is dying. We teach in the workshop that in our entire career, we never bid it to win it. We always bid it in such a way that if we got the job, it was a huge home run. Now
Oh, absolutely.
that changed our win rate to about 1 in 20,
Yeah.
which is surprising to me with the numbers that you just told me, because that's what, 1 in 65, 60. So yeah, I can help you with that dial
Well,
back
we've
stuff
we've
there.
won three in the last, over that course of time, so, too. But I mean,
Well,
um,
that takes you down to
but,
what?
but still, if you're looking, I think I track all this stuff. I would say year to date, we've probably put in maybe like 35 bids this year.
Okay.
Um, like I said, we've only won three. So that's slightly better than what I guess your win rate is, but at the same time, I'm always open to new strategies and another perspective on how
Well,
versus
I've
about
heard
things.
in my clients are somewhere between 1 in 7 and 1 in 35, but
Yeah,
on average 1 in 20.
yeah.
Um, so if you're doing better than that, I would say keep doing what you're doing. Um, at least as far as free advice goes over just some guy over the internet. Uh, but the other thing is we were much larger than you. We were doing about 20 to $40 million a year with 6 people, but
Mm-hmm.
95% of the work that we did was subcontracted.
Subcontractor, yeah. So, and that's a lane that I know that I need to go into, but the control piece,
Yeah, it's
and I've
hard to
felt
let go.
it's hard to let it go. And
Yeah.
dealing with subs in the past on non-federal jobs, have sometimes been, for more than not, has been, a
Well,
pain.
look, you haven't read my subcontract agreement. Here's another perspective here.
Yeah.
A contractor, it's deeply rooted in their mindset that if I bought this tool, I could do something with this tool. Okay. Whatever the machinery you're talking about, tools, hand tools, everything in your business that you buy as an investment, expecting a return on that investment. If I invest in this, I expect that I'll get this. The major problem in any conversation that I have in Zoom is that contractors, it's built into our mindset, this cause and effect situation. And what the problem is you haven't been through the training yet, and you
Mm-hmm.
can't anticipate what you would do with the training if you had it. It's the biggest conundrum that I have talking to a guy like you, who is perfectly primed. if I knew you personally, I'd literally say to you, "What are you, stupid, Ricardo? Like, this is the easiest thing you'll ever do to help you improve your business." But you can't say that to somebody that you just met over the internet in a one-time phone call. It doesn't
Yeah.
compute. But the concept does compute that you just can't anticipate. Just in the 15 minutes we've been sitting here on this call, imagine that for 28 hours. I can't tell you what's in the 28 hours. It would take 3 hours to describe it. It's the biggest conundrum. I don't have an
Right.
answer for that. All I can tell you is what's your gut telling you about the guy you're talking to?
Yeah, well, I mean, and that's always the thing, going with your gut, and always, I mean, and every time I've used the sub, we've always had a safety net to where if these guys fumble the ball, we're always there to pick it up and finish complete the project, because at the end of the day, it's our name, it's our reputation on the line.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. I would be so from a little bit of the from what I did see about you guys, you do workshops, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And I heard you mention that. So what's that involved? What is there's got to be, like I said, what's involved in that? What's the cost? What's, how can I, get into, I guess, I don't know if it's like a network of other federal contractors to where we share resources and, you know,
No,
any of that, or if it's just more so just educational, um, to where we just kind of learn from maybe some the mistakes and experience that you've had throughout the years.
it's everything that you can imagine. The old man. So you mentioned earlier. I don't know if it's you and your son. It's actually me and my dad.
Okay.
Um, and my dad got into federal contracts in 1976 or 77, somewhere in the mid to late 70s,
Okay.
and he built $100 million a year company in 10 years. And by the way, that was when $100 million was like $1 billion today, or yeah, I
Yeah,
guess
I hear you.
10 times that.
Yeah.
Um, and so basically, the workshop is my dad and I teaching contractors how to find, bid, negotiate, and perform federal contracts at a level that nobody can anticipate. I mean, I've got, I don't know, like hundreds of videos on YouTube. Some of them are testimonials from people who have been through the training. But here's another interesting perspective that you need to think about, because look, you're a sharp guy, you're asking Chat GPT, you're doing Google searches, you're looking shit up. There's a huge difference between me and somebody else in that the way I think about evidence, the way I think about proof. Okay. In your business prior to federal contracting, if you got $100,000 renovation job, okay, you take that contract back into your office, you open up your filing cabinet and you slip it in. Can anybody in the whole wide world open up the door to your home, walk into your office, open up that filing cabinet and go, "Holy shit, Ricardo, you got $100,000 contract"?
Oh no, I get that. I love that part of the federal contract game, to where it's all public information on who
That's
gets what.
right. It's public information. That's my point.
Yeah.
Every contract I ever got in my career is public information. But the people I teach this to, their contracts are public information. So I made a website, gcexperts.com/proof. On that page, you see actual interviews with contractors that I'm saying, "How did you like the last 3 days?" And they're going, "Oh my God, you're the expert." Well, that's social proof that I taught them. Okay.
Yeah.
But underneath their video is their link to their usaspending.gov profile. And if you go to the top, it defaults to what they've made this fiscal year in awards. But if you go to the top right of the page and you hit the drop down, you can click on all fiscal years. That dramatically changes that number.
Yeah.
Just 8 guys on that page. If you went and did that process, it's over $420 million in federal contracts.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
I mean, and that's what I can respect on that note, because you got receipts to back it up, which
That's the thing.
a lot of the internet people out here are selling versus actually people that are performing and are just, the selling, the education is an extension of it, not the other way around.
And not only that, but if you watch enough of my videos, you're going to find where I'm kicking people in the teeth virtually because they weren't prepared for this Zoom. I'm not
Mm.
doing that to you because you already have the perspective of being a federal contractor. But normally I'm saying, look, it took you a long time to be successful enough in business to even have this phone call. But you didn't spend 1 hour watching a video that was recommended to you before getting into this Zoom from a guy that did over 1,000. Like, you're not prepared with questions. Like, look, you get to watch videos of me prior to coming into this Zoom and you get to qualify me.
Mm-hmm.
A, is this guy full of shit or not? And B,
Right.
personalities are different. Is that the kind of guy I'd even want to be talking to? Okay.
Yeah.
But this conversation is where I get to decide, are you the kind of guy I want to work with? And part of that is, did you prepare for this conversation? Because I can tell. Okay. Now, again, I'm giving you a buy on this whole thing because you're already educated, you're already in this space. And,
Yeah,
and so
actually, I think I tried to watch the video. I just wouldn't click on the
that's
link
okay.
that. So
Like I said, I'm giving you a buy because you've already.
I'm glad you gave me a pass and then beat me up on that one, Sean. But yeah, I mean, I'd like to watch that video and learn more about it, and and just see there, like I said, there is some type of education that and piece that I feel like you guys are selling or
Yeah.
providing.
And look, you can figure that out and you can figure out the dollars and you can figure out if that makes sense for you or not. That part is uninteresting to me. What I look, when I started this whole thing, I told the team, I only want to do 2 things for the rest of my life. I want to answer people's questions and solve their problems on federal contracts. That's all I want to do. Okay.
Yeah.
If you guys want to send marketing messages out and keep the money coming in so you've got a job and all that fine by me. I've already got all the money I'll ever need. That's why if you watch my videos, you'll never hear me say, so Ricardo, if you buy now and you get in the next 7 days, I mean, if you want that kind of shit, I'll give that to you. But,
Yeah, please, no, thank you.
you know,
No, thank you. And that's, I mean, honestly, going into this, I was expecting pushy sales, and I'm not getting that vibe. So, I mean, just on that alone, I can, appreciate the conversation. Can you hear me, Sean?
I can hear you, but I can't see. I lost visual.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's on purpose because I don't need anything in this world from anybody, but I'm happy to it's like if you achieved everything you wanted to achieve in your life, what are you going to do on the next day?
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I'm at in my life. I'm a one-trick pony. I only know federal government construction. I don't know how to sell paper to the government or wrestling mats or all that
Well,
kind of
that's
stuff.
another thing too. I first going into this government contract, and once I got my, registered with Sam and got my, cage code and all my, my credentials, I'm looking at all kinds of ridiculous stuff that does not even fit my lane. And then I had to pull back and like, okay, let me just go ahead and get into some things that are more so in my wheelhouse. So and that's all construction, right? So I mean, I'm looking for the concrete work. I'm looking for any type of demolition. I'm looking for excavation. I'm looking for any type of remodeling. I mean, we just put one in, another one with the Coast Guard for just a kitchen remodel. So I mean, just things like that to where I know we can go in there. It's clean. I know their numbers are what it is,
Yeah.
and we can, or at least our hard costs. We know what our hard costs are, and then we put the bid in, and if we don't get it, it's whatever. If we get it, then we second guess and like, damn, did we bid enough? If we got
Sure.
once we got the bid, right?
That's why, by the way, that's why I created the estimator AI, because everybody's got,
yeah,
Lady Gaga.
there's no like guide as far in construction. Everybody's pricing is all over the board.
That's right. But Lady Gaga addressed this. I can't remember if it was on 60 Minutes or something, but she addressed this. She said, every time I put a song out, I feel like I'm displaying my vagina to the world because it's that personal. People are going to judge me based on the music that I put out. And when she said that, or I read it or heard about it, or whatever, I was thinking, I feel that same way every time I turn a bid in. People are going to judge me.
Yeah.
It's so personal.
Yeah. I mean, double, triple, just second guessing and 5-time guessing yourself on the numbers, right?
Yeah. And
Before you hit that send button.
Who else can you pick up the phone and call that has felt that? I always say that the reason I make myself so available, like when you join my program, you'll get my personal cell phone number. And people will call me at 10 o'clock at night. Hell, one time a guy called me at 2 o'clock in the morning thinking he was going to leave a voice message, but I was up and I heard the phone ring, so I answered it.
Okay.
Um, but what I figured out is that people in the construction industry don't call a guy like me to ask how the weather is in Austin, Texas, because they know I don't give a shit about the weather. You throw a weather rock out there and see if it's wet. They call me because they're stuck or they're thinking about something that only I can. There isn't a single conversation that you can have about federal government construction that I haven't already had with myself,
Mm-hmm.
my dad, another client, something like that. And so instantly at any level, I'm caught up. I know exactly what you're talking about. Okay. And when you get somebody like your best friend, can't all if you tell him your problem, all he can do is, man, buddy, I love you. I
Give you
hope it works.
support, huh?
I hope it works out for you.
Right.
But when you call a guy like me, I feel the pain because I've been there. And here's
Yeah.
how I solved it. Okay.
Yeah.
You can't get that perspective from your best friend. You can only get it from a guy like me.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean that's definitely real. I can see that for sure, man. 100%.
Yeah.
Because I mean, especially in this, I mean, we can. I feel like, especially in construction, and not even federal contracting construction, but just construction alone, you either speak in the language or you ain't, and
That's
and
right.
and so you either can talk it or you not, and then you add the layer of federal contracting to it too, to where, like you say, you're feeling those pressure points, and you know and it's a lot of the times it's even small little minor stuff, but it gets blown up because you're in the moment. you know let's say you're putting in a bid, you've worked on a bid, and you go ahead and put it in, and like that day it's due, and you don't realize they just put an amendment in,
That's right.
an hour before, right? And so you're like, you lost, a couple hours of your time, and you look like a dumbass because you put a bid in that's not ready to be
Yeah.
ready to go.
Let me alleviate that specific problem for you. Nobody on the government side gives a shit.
Yeah.
Whether you look like an idiot or not. They'll just
Well,
email you.
that's just my personal. I just keep my, hold myself to a high standard. That's all.
And buddy, believe me, I do too.
But I hear you too. I mean, the people in the government, they do not give a shit. They're just a
No,
lot. They're pushing paper.
pushing paper. You're exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess, Sean, what's the next step with this, man? I mean,
We
I can
just
talk about this
continue.
all day long.
I can talk about it too all day long. I don't think I have anything on my schedule, but as far as next step is, we just keep communicating until you decide, holy shit, I'm going to invest some money and
I need to know
then
what the investment is. I feel like you really haven't told me what that's about. And
normally
and I'm open to invest. I mean, like I said, I told you I've invested into some other different AI platforms, and I mean
yeah,
anything that would provide value to my business, I'm open to. But I'd like to
that,
know if
that
this is worth my
yeah,
while.
I get it. So first of all, just understand that I'm really uninterested in talking about the money part because the money part's just the money part. But
Okay.
if you're going to force me to say it right here to your face, it's $5,000 to get
Okay.
into the 3-day training. Okay. And then what you don't know is that I developed Bid Tracker, which is how much time do you think you have spent on sam.gov total?
Like this year alone,
Sure.
I mean, I don't know. I would say I spend probably no lie about good 30 to 40 hours on that alone a
Okay.
week.
Okay. I developed a system, invested over $250,000 developing it, that you find all the opportunities you want in less than 5 minutes a day.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just show. I didn't even think about it until just now. My apologies. Let me just show you. I didn't put my contacts in yet today, so give me just 1 second. Oh, I hit the wrong button.
Hi, this is Trip at GC Experts. I'm not able to have a conversation with you on this line.
Oh, for heaven's sake, I called him on the wrong phone number.
Email at Sean at GC.
Let me tell him that I'm calling in on a different number. Hold on just 1 second.
Yeah, go for it.
You said you had time for this.
Yeah, absolutely. For this, 100%.
Trip, I just called you from a 297 number. I want you to call that number back. This is me, Sean Reitmeyer. It's going to take him about 3 minutes to write to the database that it's an authorized number and all that kind of stuff, but he'll call me back.
Okay.
If I had called him from the phone that we're talking on, you would have gotten a whole different experience. He's all, I'm not authorized to talk to you.
On it. Sean, I checked the inbox. Most of the recent stuff was already answered, but 2 were genuinely stale. Ryan sent.
In the meantime, I can probably play you this phone call that came in last night. It was unbelievable.
If you record your name and reason for calling, I'll see if this person is available.
Hello. This is Trip from GC Expert calling for David. Sean asked me to reach out about any federal contracting questions or RFQs he's working on. Thanks. Thanks for the call. Do you remember the emails that we have been exchanging 9:04 p.m.? Yes, I do remember those, and I just reviewed them. Go over any specific questions you have from what we exchanged. What do you want to focus on first? Well, I just want to make sure that you know my PA bonding capabilities and what the bonding company is requiring me to do. I guess I have to perform 15% of every project. For your bonding, the agent needs a full financial package. Company financials, tax returns, personal financial statements, WIP schedules, and more. They'll focus on your cash reserves and working capital for a $250,000 bond limit. The bonding company will typically require you to self-perform about 15% of the work at the prime contractor to maintain control. So you were stating that you had 3 RFQs. Elemental. One. Do you think you could work those out for me? You've got 2 RFQs at Base Alameda, both flooring related, due May 15th. One is pool deck and locker room floor repair, and the other is a new floor in the men's locker room. Both are SBA set aside. The third one is in Phoenix, Arizona, plumbing infrastructure repairs, due May 28th. And that one's an SDVOSB set aside. Let me know which one you want. I only had SBA.
So how is this even going? Is this guy is this like all just like on a phone call? He's like, or how is that? Because I know you were saying before you can email this stuff to the chat box.
Up until last night, everything that you just heard was all being done by email back and forth. Okay.
Yeah.
Last night, I was talking to one of my clients on Telegram about an unrelated issue, and he mentioned that Tripp put together a bid for him. And I said, do you want to talk to Tripp? And he said, what? Question mark. I said, seriously, do you want to talk to him on the phone? He said, yeah. So I told Tripp to call him. Oh, Tripp's calling.
Hey, Sean, calling back. What do you need?
Well, I'm talking to a potential client for GC Experts, and I wanted you to explain to him what you do.
Sure thing. At GC Experts, I handle all the project management side of federal contracting. That includes pulling bid opportunities, walking through the specs, managing the posture, tackling FAR clauses, building schedules, and handling past performance positioning. Basically, I help contractors navigate and win federal construction contracts smoothly.
So give me an example of how you've been helping somebody recently.
Sure. Recently, I helped a contractor work through a complex HVAC replacement project. I pulled all the bid documents, walked them through the specifications, and built a detailed project schedule. I also helped position their past performance to align with what the contracting officer was looking for. In the end, it made their proposal much stronger and saved them a ton of time.
What is the $100,000 letter?
The $100,000 letter is a letter of bondability from a surety that shows you're qualified for at least $100,000 in bonding capacity. It's often used by contractors who are starting out in federal work to show that they can get bonded for smaller projects right away. It's a simple way to prove your financial credibility to the government without having to fully secure a bond every time. Got it. That's not what you were asking about. Could you clarify what you mean by the $100,000 letter or how you've heard it used? That way I can give you the right context.
Tripp, when you review this phone call, I want him tied into the workshop transcript so that he can explain the $100,000 letter. That's super important. I mean, I'm looking like an idiot here on a phone call that my damn robot doesn't understand the $100,000 letter. It's at the end of day 1 of the workshop.
Thanks for that note. I'll make sure to lock that piece in for next time. Let me know how you want to move forward, or if you want me to explain anything else.
Well, this guy likes to do civil work. Is there a civil work job in, let's say, Alabama or what was it, Ohio?
Yeah, Cleveland, Ohio.
I'm not seeing any active civil work jobs in Ohio right now. Do you want me to broaden the search to Alabama or another state?
Yeah, just give me 3 civil work solicitations and just to give me a brief overview of what's available right now in Bid Tracker.
Here's a quick overview of 3 current civil work solicitations. First, there's one in Alabama for mold remediation and cleaning due tomorrow. Second and third, both are for general roads and civil construction in Vermont, both due in mid-May. Let me know if you want more details on any of those.
Pick one of them in Vermont and give me a high-level overview of what the work requires.
This one in Vermont is an IDIQ for general roads and civil construction under the Forest Service. They haven't specified the value range, but it's a small business set-aside. The scope likely includes road maintenance, construction, and general civil works across multiple locations. It's due May 19th. Want me to dig into the scope details?
No, can you pick one that's not an IDIQ? Like, pick one that's an RFP. I don't care where it's at.
I'm not seeing any active civil RFPs right now. Most of what's out there is IDIQ or combined synopsis solicitation. If you want me to keep an eye out for a specific type of work or location, let me know and I can track it.
Pick one that's a combined synopsis solicitation.
Here's one that's a combined synopsis and solicitation. It's for mold remediation and cleaning work in Alabama. The due date is tomorrow. Let me know if you want any deeper details on that one.
Yeah, what if I'm going to look at that job, what's something in the specifications or the scope of work that I should be looking out for?
For this job, you definitely need to watch out for mold remediation certifications, since both primary and subcontractors must have them. Also, they're requiring detailed chemical product data sheets before starting and a full HVAC system decontamination. Finally, post-remediation air testing and moisture checks are mandatory before you can close out. So those are key things to focus on in this.
Anyway, you get the idea. You want to ask him a question?
Yeah, I ask a question. Is there any bonding requirements for this solicitation?
Didn't see any bonding requirement called out explicitly in the general clauses section. That said, sometimes bonding details get tucked into a specific section or referenced on the solicitation form itself. To be sure, you'd want to confirm with the contracting officer or double check the solicitation document itself.
Trip, I don't know if you have this capability over phone yet, but can you do a vision analysis of that job and see if there's any bonding requirements? If you can't, you need to, when you review this call, that needs to be one of your capabilities when I'm talking to you, not for anybody else.
Got it. I don't have visual analysis capability over the phone just yet. I'll make sure to flag that for improvement review so I can handle that directly for you in the future. Right now, I can rely only on the written docs and sections I can pull from the solicitation. Let me know if you want me to verify anything else from the documents I can access.
We have OCR of everything in Bid Tracker, so you can actually read me the certification requirement from the solicitation, correct?
Exactly. I've got full text from all the documents in Bid Tracker. So if there's a certification requirement or any specific bonding requirement in the spec, I can read that directly to you. If you want me to pinpoint a specific section or detail, just let me know.
I want you to read me the actual paragraph that it calls out for the certification so I can understand what it actually says.
Here's the exact paragraph from the document. Both the primary and all subcontractors shall have current certifications in mold abatement and remediation. That's the key requirement for certification on this job. Let me know if you need more from the spec.
Typically, a combined synopsis solicitation, we teach that in the workshop as this is what they want, give them a price. So is that your understanding of a combined synopsis solicitation? Like you know going into the contract that there's going to be requirements that aren't necessarily spelled out in the plans and specs?
Yes, that's exactly how I approach a combined synopsis solicitation. It's basically the government saying, here's the work. Tell us how you'll do it and what it'll cost. But because it's streamlined, not every detail is laid out in the documents. You often need to fill in gaps using industry standards and past experience. That's why understanding those implied requirements is key.
You get the idea, Ricardo?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, what you're doing is you're having these conversations that I'm having to type out on my computer with my tab.
This is the future of federal government construction as far as I'm concerned. Okay.
Yeah.
And by the way, every single phone call that it has, if it discovers in the review that there's something more it needs to fix, it fixes it. In 5 minutes, if I call that thing back, it's going to be able to vision check everything. It does have that capability. If I tell them right now, go get a vision level analysis of a particular job, it will go do that. But that ability is going to be available in the next phone call. And the 100K letter, it got it completely wrong, which told me that it's not checking the paperwork that it has correctly on phone. It will on email. It just, anyway, every single conversation it has, it records, reviews, and makes itself better.
Right. So just to get you straight, there's a 3-day workshop, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, or at some point, we have access though to this actual program from here to the wheels fall off, basically. Is that what I'm reading it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I like it. I think, anything that can save me time. I mean, what I'm doing right now, I feel like is saving me time, but I can still, like, just being able to do this over via phone versus typing these things out and then waiting for things to, like, it's thinking and things like that. And, the back and forth, this route, I mean, already I can see shaving off some time on just like bid reviews and bid submissions. So, I mean, I'm interested in seeing a little bit more what this can do. I would like to see that video that I was supposed to watch before jumping on this call. But yeah, I mean, I'm definitely interested. I would love to stay connected. I feel like we're speaking the same language, and so, like I said, I'd like to stay connected and see where this relationship could take us.
Okay.
So, I mean, do you need some info from me to continue this thing on, or do you already have everything kind of in your system?
Literally what's going to happen, and I can say it right now and it will happen. I can say, hey, video guy, find out who this guy is, Ricardo. You can use my Gmail API, find out his phone number and email address. Set up a 24-hour access to Trip. Have Trip send this guy an email and give him 24-hour access. And then go find the Michael video. I think you might even have access to it, but you'll be able to find it. And then email him have Trip email Ricardo the Michael video, the YouTube video. And if you have any problems, ping me in Telegram. And now that's all going to happen automatically, Ricardo.
Wow. That's pretty impressive, man, if I get it over like clean like that.
It'll be completely clean like that. Because what happens is when I hit end on this video, it gets logged into Zoom. Zoom has something called an API, and my robot has access to the API. It's going to get what's called a webhook, and it's going to know that it's got a video. The first thing that it's trained to do is turn the video into a transcript. Okay. Then it reads the transcript for any instructions for me, such as sometimes I talk to people where something's personal. And so I'll just say in here, hey, cut this next part out. We're going to be talking about people's credit scores or their bonding limits or something like that. And so it'll pick up on that and it'll cut that section out. But then also what it does at the end of the video, because it's been programmed to do it, is I tell it, hey, if you find anything in the video that wouldn't be necessarily good for public consumption, I want you to automatically cut that out, and you don't even need approval from me. Just go ahead and do it at your own free will. So, but anyway, but it's also taught to follow my instructions. So I guarantee you 100% you're going to get those emails.
Very, very cool. Very cool. And you mentioned YouTube. You guys have a YouTube channel?
I do. It's my name, Sean Reitmeyer.
Okay. Yeah. Have to check you out, man. And yeah, I mean, I'm definitely interested. I appreciate the call and, the conversation. It was definitely brought some insight into some things makes me look at some things a little differently, the way I'm doing it. I feel like your AI tool that you're using right now could definitely provide some value to my business. And yeah, I think depending on what's involved in the 3-day training, is that involved like around the system that you guys created? Is training on that, or is it just more so just training in federal contracting?
Look, you'll figure out what it is in the Michael video that you're going to be sent. I explain, what the 3-day workshop is and all the value of it and all that kind of stuff. But just understand that, AI is new. We weren't teaching AI when we were doing the workshops. I don't even think anybody really saw that coming on the horizon. This whole AI thing, I picked up on it. Well, it was in the news a year ago, right? Different things in AI, but it wasn't available to forward thinkers in a meaningful way, the average everyday guy, until very recently. And then that's when I got interested. It was like, what do you mean? I can operate AI from my cell phone in a meaningful way? Like, I look, asking ChatGPT a question is a toy. I mean, yeah, it's going to help a bunch of people out there but what it can't
bullshit
do,
questions.
what it can't do is what I just said. Okay, ChatGPT cannot monitor the transcript of a Zoom call and take action on it. Okay, that's, you can't get that for $200 a month. No joke. I am investing right now somewhere between $4,000 and $5,000 per day operating this. Okay, that's what the cost is to create and operate something at this level.
Yeah.
Seriously.
No, I could believe it, but so what you said by that, though, are you looking to get any type of return on your investment? Or
at some point, right? Look, I can afford to do this for a long time, but at some point, yes. Right now, if you
I know that's the issue with AI. People are investing a lot, but not the return isn't necessarily defined.
That's right. And it's not defined. So here's how I've defined it. When you're in the membership program, which you're going to learn about in that video, you're going to get access to Bid Tracker, the system that Tripp was just describing to you in the phone calls. You're going to get access to that as part of the program. Okay. But Tripp was designed to be the world's greatest project manager. Okay. But people started asking him questions about Bid Tracker, and so I tied that in. But eventually what people started doing, look, you never know. If I hand you a tool, a hammer, I don't know if you're going to use that to hammer a nail or you're going to use it to pull siding off of a house. I don't know what you're going to do with the hammer. Okay. And so I designed the AI, and all of a sudden I started seeing how people were using it. And I went, oh, okay, this is what they want. Okay. Yeah. So I just started building on that. Well, eventually everybody has the same fucking concern that you have. I turn a bid in. Was my bid any good? Okay.
Yeah.
So they started asking Tripp to put together estimates, and he was doing that. Well, then that's when the costs really started skyrocketing from $1,000 a day to $5,000 a day. And I went, okay, well, I got to deal with this somehow because you can't do that forever. Nobody can. Um, so anyway, I developed an estimator. Okay. And if you email him, his name is Rudy. If you email Tripp today and you say estimate a job, he says, hey, look, I'll give you some ideas, but if you really want an estimate, send an email to Rudy. Now, right now, Rudy gives you a quote. He comes back and he says, that's going to cost $100. And I'm not joking. It really does cost $100. Okay. I'm not taking anything on top of that right now. Right now, I'm just trying to get people to realize that this is a real valuable tool that normally you'd pay somebody $5,000 a month for. And here you go, for $100, you get a real professional estimate and all the backup, how the numbers arrive, and then not only a range 140 to 160,000, but then a percent. If you bid it at 150,000, you're going to win 65% of the time or whatever. If you bid it on this side of the range, it's going to give you proportional answers to questions you didn't even think to ask. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to describe to you the comparables. What's the same? What's different? It's a hell of a thing that this guy puts together.
Yeah.
But he's not going to do that for you for free. He'll do it for free if it's less than $5. If you ask him what the price of a boiler is, he'll probably just answer that.
So Rudy is the bid feature that you have within this system that
Yeah.
For $100, he'll put together an estimate for me.
Yes, that you can rely on. He'll give you all the evidence as to why you should go with this number. And
Okay,
believe
so
me,
he'll have like all my hard costs.
yeah, down to the nut if you want. But he's been tested, okay, with real clients that I gave free unfettered access to this guy to the tune of thousands and thousands of dollars, okay? And he is accurate. I mean, accurate.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell him all my bids, I want 30% margins or
Right.
16% net margin, whatever you can tell him, and he'll calculate that in.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I kind of work that in with my bids now with just AI, just kind of giving me a bid range and seeing, okay, as far as probability is winning the job. Because, I mean, I'm not going to go through the trouble of putting a bid in for something and just to make it, small margin, thin margin. So, just making sure it's worth my while and.
But to answer your question, how I get my money back is at some point in the future, I'm going to add 10%. So on a $100 estimate, it'll be $110. And eventually that'll get me, my 150 grand back.
Right. Now, are you actively bidding on contracts yourself at this point, or you're out that?
Haven't done that in 15 or 20 years.
Yeah. So how are you staying current though with like the trends and things like that? What's going on?
I talk to people like you every single day.
Yeah.
Do I sound like I'm current and on the trends?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, you could have told me you put in, a couple bids today, and I would have like, okay, I could believe that.
No. In fact, if you go, are you familiar with the ASBCA?
Yeah.
Armed Services Board of Contract Appeals? Just look up my dad's name and my name, Doug Reitmeyer and Sean Reitmeyer. We have sued the federal government 15 times without an attorney. We're not attorneys. And we've won 8 of them. You're really talking to a unicorn.
Yeah. No, I can dig it, man. I mean, I honestly, like I said, could talk to you all day long about this stuff. But I want to be respectful for your time, and I know I have things I got on my plate as well. But I mean, don't want this call to just go, silent after this, So just check my email. I haven't received anything from
No,
from you.
it's after. What happens, I haven't
Oh,
hit,
once the call's done,
it
it
doesn't
captures
know
it.
the transcript until
Yeah.
after it downloads it from Zoom. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, if I can get some, I don't know if that's going to have some like contact information for you on that as well.
Just interact with the AI, and if they need to get a hold of me, I'm easy to get a hold of. I promise. Seriously, the only thing that's left on my agenda today is lunch and a couple of beers.
Yeah, I hear that, man. I hear that. Yeah, I'm currently in Thailand right now, so it's coming up on midnight my side. So,
Okay.
but nonetheless, have a couple for me. Enjoy your beers, and I do look forward to seeing this information. Take a look into the video, and I mean, like to talk to my partner on this, but I mean, this is, sounds like something that could be a game changer for us. I mean, I know the AI, like I said, I'm already open and know what AI's capabilities are, but still have yet to find something to unlock what it could really do for my business.
That's the thing. All the other things are toys. They're just toys. This thing does actual work that a federal contract. It's all my perspective because okay, you guys came out with an electric saw. Great. Does it really work? Let me hold it in my hand. Let me play with it. Let me go cut some 2x4s, some 2x6s. Let me rip a piece of plywood. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this thing going, is this a toy or is this a real tool?
Right. No, I mean, it sounds good. I mean, I get it. You don't have to sell me on this.
I'm not trying to. I'm just
I
telling.
know
I'm
you're
looking
not.
from my perspective.
No, I know you're not, and like I said, I respect that. So I like to dive in deeper into this, and try to stay connected with you and whoever's in your community. I don't know, like I said, what the 3-day training is about, but I'd like to learn a little bit more about that as well.
Okay.
And I'll check you guys out on YouTube, and I'll take if I get the 24-hour access to Trip, test drive it, play around with it a little bit, and